It has only been a couple of days since Spain won the World Cup, but the movements in the transfer window have already been phenomenal. In fact, about 24 hours before the World Cup final even started, Chelsea's deal to sign Morgan Rodgers for a British record transfer fee, the £117 million transfer fee, was announced by David Ornstein. Not only was it the craziest story of this transfer window yet, but even after that, there are so many more moves being made with regards to Chelsea. Nicholas Jackson might just be sold. Alejandro Garnacho is also in consideration at many clubs, including Aston Villa. And apparently, as the news has been, Nicholas Jackson and Alejandro Garnacho have been discussed by Chelsea and Aston Villa during the Morgan Rodgers negotiations as well. And as has been reported in the past few weeks regarding Nicholas Jackson and Chelsea, what seems to be the case is that Chelsea will give Nicholas Jackson a chance to prove himself in the preseason to Xabi Alonso. Xabi Alonso wants to have a look at Nicholas Jackson and then decide what his future has to be at Chelsea. How good he can do, how well he can impress Xabi Alonso. Could he function well in a Xabi Alonso team? All this still remains to be seen. Nicholas Jackson did pretty well in his first season under Mauricio Pochettino. He did okay-ish under Enzo Maresca in the second season. And after that, he was loaned to Bayernmunich to be the substitute for Harry Kane, where he did pretty well, considering he was a substitute. And he did go on to win the DFB Pokal and the Bundesliga as well. So now he's coming back, winning some trophies off the back of winning that Conference League trophy with Chelsea as well. Now that he is in consideration with Xabi Alonso, he does have the opportunity of proving himself to Xabi Alonso and gaining his spot at Chelsea back. And as we all know, Jackson did enjoy a partnership with colepalmer during his term at Chelsea, during his 2 years at Chelsea, where him and colepalmer were involved in a lot of goals. They were involved in making the Chelsea attack better in many, many games. And it did feel like Palmer and Jackson do complement each other in a lot of ways. Jackson's a striker who is not an out-and-out striker. He does provide a lot to the overall game. And you could also make the argument that he provides more to the entire game, more to the overall game than just scoring goals. But what Jackson provides in terms of creating spaces, creating chances, making those deep runs. I know we've had these problems with Kai Havertz and Timo Werner in the past as well, Crystalpalace as well. But with Jackson, it is still a better case because you have Palmer, who does seem to be getting back into the thick of things, and João Pedro, who is still a fantastic striker, João Pedro, who's still a fantastic player, into the mix as well. And now that you've got Morgan Rodgers in place, I know he didn't have the best of World Cups, but he did have some really impressive moments. And he could provide Chelsea with a lot of options. And considering the fact that Xabi Alonso has been crucial, has been integral to signing him, it does feel like he is going to have a huge role to Chelsea's success in the times to come. So could Jackson stay and provide some benefit to Chelsea? Yes, he very well could. But as the reports have been that if Jackson wants to leave and a club could pay somewhere around the valuation that Chelsea is making, their figures being quoted right now on the internet seem to be around the 65 million figure, around the 65 million mark. I'm not sure if that is a huge figure because Chelsea are very good sellers and it would be a good fee and not unrealistic either. But the thing that really bothers me about this whole Nicholas Jackson fiasco is that would Chelsea be truly able to replace Nicholas Jackson? Because Chelsea still do have a lot of players to sell. They still have Alejandro Garnacho and Liam Delap to sell. They still have to make a decision on Jamie Gittins. Esteban is there to start the games. If João Pedro gets injured, if João Pedro and Morgan Rodgers are not in their best form, or if something of similar sorts happens, then who would actually take their place at Chelsea? And Nicholas Jackson is definitely the person you want to replace those players. He could even start the games if he's playing better than all these players. Jackson is that kind of a player. And yes, that is why he could be sold to a club like Villa for sure. But I think Chelsea could afford to keep him, and I do think he could contribute a lot to this Chelsea team. So I do hope Chelsea go on to keep Nicholas Jackson. I've said it for the past year, and I'm still saying it now. I'm still standing by my argument. Jackson is a player who could contribute a lot to this Chelsea team once Chelsea fix their midfield situation. And if Chelsea could add one more attacker who would not be an outright disappointment like Garnacho, like Delap have been.